What was that? Among all the possible challenges in Skyrim, a bow only one seems easy. Of course you can beat the game with only a bow, I hear you say. It's a normal weapon, what's strange? Well, when I say only a bow, I mean only a bow, as in arrows are not included. So, I ask again, can you beat Skyrim with only a bow? I chose an orc, because their power doubles my damage for a short time. I avoid the axe and the game begins. For now, I only have to run around avoiding the big dragon. I free my hands, but I still have to find a bow, so I wait for Ralof to finish the job. He kills some Imperials along the way, and I start collecting vegetables for a special something that we'll need later. I found a bow on a dead body, and I try to see how much damage I deal with a bash. It's basically nothing, but I'll manage. I almost die against the strongest enemy here, the cart. It attacks Ralof, and I manage to save him. The next step is reaching Riverwood, where they send me to the Jarl in Whiterun to inform him of the dragon menace. On my way there, I steal the bow that I'll use for all the run. I have to lockpick a bit, but it's not that hard. I talk to the Jarl, and he sends me in a nearby ruin to get a stone dish. But first, I have to cook some food. I obtain the vegetable soup. When I eat it for the next 12 minutes, I will regenerate 1 health and 1 stamina per second. This doesn't seem much, but the bow bash requires you to have at least 1 stamina to do it. And the soup regeneration isn't affected by having an empty stamina bar. I reach the ruins that are defended by bandits. I kill one to show you how much time it takes even if I can attack repeatedly thanks to the soup. I avoid the following enemies so this video won't come out after the Elder Scrolls 6, until I reach the big spider. Well, first I have to destroy the web, and for some reason my attacks sometimes don't connect. Also, my bash pushes enemy backwards, and sometimes they interact weirdly with the game physics, and they take damage, like this skiver here. The big spider is a big problem and deals me a big damage. I need to use the orc power so it isn't that big of a pain. The deadliest thing is that it drains my stamina with its poison, and that even blocks the soup, making me unable to attack. I free some guy and kill him in order to get the golden claw, like that old YouTube video with the guy killing people with a spoon. I keep on avoiding enemies until I reach the boss of this section. Luckily my attack staggers him a bit, so he can't attack me and the fight is only boring. Also, if he isn't killed after he drops to the ground, he will run around the area. But I'm aware of it, so I use the orc power to push more damage in the last part of the fight. I win and I can bring back the stone dish. We are informed that a dragon is attacking the city. I have to kill him with the town guard. This fight isn't hard. I can stagger the dragon if I time my attacks correctly, and the guards deal a fair amount of damage. I only have to avoid being cooked when he flies around. I win the fight and get back to the Jarl. My next step is going on top of a mountain to train my voice. I make my way to Riften via carriage. From there I steal a horse and I ride to the mountain, avoiding everything. Here I have a little chit chat and I get sent to a dungeon to retrieve a horn. Inside the dungeon I decide not to waste my time and I avoid the enemies. I can take a shortcut here that saves time and I learn a shout that I'll need later. The hardest part here was definitely cutting the web. For some reason the hitbox of my attack and the web's one don't match properly. I can't get the horn because somebody stole it before I could. They left me a strange message with their location, so I go and meet them. Turns out that the thief was Delphine. She gives me the horn and we decide to go and kill a dragon together. We reach the dragon's location, I drink some soup, and I punch the dragon in the face as soon as I see him. Wait, I attack the dragon with my bow. Punching is forbidden, obviously. My attacks can stagger the dragon. Delphine deals the damage, and we manage to kill him without any problem. Our next step is infiltrating an embassy. In the embassy, I could fight everyone, but I think it would take a very long time, so I avoided doing it. I can run past the first guards, go in the outside area, and enter the next section. Here, the guards outside won't follow you. I remove my armor in order to make less noise, I reach a chest, and I can proceed to the following room without being seen. Here, I wait for the wizard to reach his seat. I sneak up behind him and I can steal a book. Now 2 guards come to fight me and I have to take a key that they have in order to escape. But since I haven't been spotted yet, I can sneak near them. You usually can pickpocket them, but this time it didn't work, not sure why. I solved the problem by hiding and waiting for them to come down. Then I could steal the key and escape. Here pickpocketing gave me problems again, but at a certain distance it worked. Skyrim works in strange ways. We find out that the elves knew nothing, but like nobody died, so no problem. Well, the elf that helped us died, but it wasn't because of me. Now I have to save an old friend of Delphine. I go to the sewers in Riften, I avoid all the enemies, and a raging mob at the bar attacks all of them but a guy with a bow. For some reason. I avoid the elves, find Esbern, and we get out together. Well, I get out alone, and was lucky enough that he didn't get stuck. We now need to find a way to defeat Alduin. So we head for an ancient temple, heavily guarded outside, but basically empty inside, and nobody follows us. We find out that we need a shout, so I go and talk to the old guys. Also, I give them the horn from before. They send me to the master of their order, which happens to be a dragon, that wants me to shout at him first. I am forced to do it in order to proceed, so I don't consider it as a thing that fails the run. He tells me that I need to find an Elder Scroll in order to learn the shout. A mad guy in a nice cave tells me where to find one. So I go inside a dwarven ruin. I avoid being stabbed by spider machines, cats, and sphere machines. I use the shout that I got earlier to avoid half the dungeon. Now I simply have to avoid being stabbed by the weird underground elves, and I can open a gate, get steamed like a dumpling, do it all over again, and I can access Blackreach. That is basically a place where I have to walk for a couple of minutes until I get to the Elder Scroll location. Here I solve a very hard puzzle that involves pressing a button until you can press the following button, and I get the scroll. I get on top of the mountain with the dragon and I can read the scroll. I sit through a cutscene and I learn the shout that I have to use in order to defeat Alduin. Also, the shout doesn't deal damage, so it doesn't break the run. Alduin shows up and we have to fight. This is a high octane moment where I have to, well, beat him with a bow while staggering him for 10 minutes. At least the soup was hot and kept me from dying of hypothermia. A soup that I made days ago and I stored in a bowl in my pocket? Alduin is defeated, but flies away out of boredom, and I have to find a way to follow him. With the help of the old guys, I stop a civil war, and I can use a nearby castle in order to trap a dragon and convince him to bring me to the place where Alduin rests. I do what I just said I would do, and I did Skuldafen. Here I have to avoid being eaten alive. Luckily, I can do it by running faster than my enemies. I have to solve some puzzles, but after I did them at Legendary at level 1, everything feels easy. Here I have to fight a Drogr. Beating him with the bow works, even though he tries to run away at the end in classic Drogr fashion. I can enter a portal by running faster than a floating priest. The joke here is that he floats, so he isn't running. On the other side of the portal there is one last fight before Alduin. His name is Tsun and he wants to see if I'm worthy enough to proceed. He hits hard and is always moving, but I managed to trap him in a corner and he is done for. Now I can rally the heroes and we go together to fight Alduin. Also, I find it interesting that according to the game, my favorite weapon so far is none. I guess the bow doesn't actually affect the damage. Well, maybe at least. It's Skyrim, so nobody can tell for sure. We shout to clear the mist, and we fight Alduin. It's basically the same fight as before, but this time there are 4 of us. And with that, I say that you can beat Skyrim with only a bow, and also without arrows. If you did this challenge yourselves, let me know how it went in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like or even subscribe. I'll see you next time. Well, you'll see me. See the video at least. Why do I always mess up the outro?